Hey, took a little break for lunch, playing a little guitar. Special report. Special report. Yesterday we had some breaking news after we had done Preservation Thursday. I am going to read the recommendation. This is a special report. We're going to Business 101, little contract etiquette, ethics, whatever you want to call it. Business 101. I'm going to pose the question right now before I get started. I've had these eggs for 6 months sitting on my shelf. Will you eat them? I'm teasing. I have had it for 6 months, but that's not the question I want to ask. Just going in the weekend, got to have a little levity, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Wilson says. Got to have a little levity. Yesterday we broke some, HUD. Let me see who this is from. BLM Companies, LLC, Hurricane, Utah Federal Housing Administration Management and Marketing 3 Program Field Service Manager, Area 1D. Area 1D. Office of Audit, Region 6, Fort Worth, Texas. Robert Moulding, this is who this is addressed to, Associate Deputy Assistant Secretary for Single Housing, Family Housing of Urban Development. It's from the Inspector General. And BLM Companies, LLC, failed to ensure that it protected and preserved HUD properties under its Field Service Manager contract for Area 1D. That's going to be a topic of our discussion. But the question I want to ask you, and this goes out, whether you have a contract on paper, and as they say, what is in the four corners is the law, is the rule, or you have a verbal agreement. When you accept money, this is your question. I want you to think about this for a minute. When you accept money for services, does obligation attach? Just think about that. We'll talk about that towards the end. What I'd like to talk about, though, we're not going to go through all the background and all that stuff. Finding BLM Companies failed to ensure that it protected and preserved HUD properties under its Field Manager Service contract for Area 1D. 71% of routine inspections failed to meet requirements. And as I go through this is like a 100-page report, ladies and gentlemen. BLM Management, A Notion, Purdy Enterprises, ain't Mitch Davidson in there. They're all kind of strung together. And I'm going to ask this question again. Mr. Carnes, Miss Satterfield, why do they have a contract? Where are these people located in Utah? Why are they doing work in Texas? Why are they doing work in Colorado? You have offices in those states. Why aren't you utilizing them to hire local talent? Mr. Ben Carson, Secretary of HUD, think about this. Mr. President wants to make America great again. How do we do that? We put people to work. Why aren't you utilizing the people, boots on the ground? Get rid of all these order mills in the middle, taking a percentage of the money so the services cannot get completed correctly. This is a direct result of BLM being pecuniary greed pigs and cheating people. Cutting all the money out, and there's no reason for this. There should be no contract to order mill. There should be no contract to order mill. And I want you to think about that. What I did like on this was the recommendation. Some of the photographs that are tagged. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stick this dooberhickey in the link. I'll put the link in there. You can look at it yourself. BLM Companies, we've always known they're a bunch of garbage. These are the ones that force people to illegally perform services in the HIPPR when they backfeed electricity into a dryer vent, and they put literally put the contractor's life on the line. And the neighbor and the guy up the street, electricity just keeps running. It's an illegal service. In every state, we've checked on this. So why people are getting into bed with this company? Why isn't labor saying, hey, get away from us? Go away. Let them eat the contract. If they can't perform, guess what? Mr. Carson, you got a problem. Mr. Carnes, you got a problem with the 4S contract right now. Why don't you, just a suggestion, Nevada and Idaho, it's not very big in the big picture of things. Why don't you experiment with my idea and see what happens? Experiment with my idea and see if it works. What do you got to lose? What have you got to lose? My scenario, you won't get ripped off for your money. You won't get cheated on photographs. You won't be told that, oh, we had some guy replace that and the window's broke. You won't get that kind of stuff. Just think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. You got a long weekend here. You got a whole weekend. It's a party time. It's a barbecue time. It's family time. Summer's coming to a close. That means fall's on its way. Think about it, Mr. Carnes. Just think about what I'm saying, Mr. Carson, Mr. Carnes, Miss Satterfield. You got a problem with 4S. Company in Texas can't perform. Cancel the award. They don't need it. Their bid stinks. And that's why. Let's be sensible here. Be sensible. It's kind of like the rocket ship that takes our astronauts up into outer space. It's got 257 billion moving parts made by the lowest bidder. And then you wonder why something blows up. It's the recommendation. It's a recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, there's my rant. There's my weekend rant. And hey, I know, Mr. Carson, you got a lot on the plate. You got a lot on the table, Ms. Satterfield and Mr. Carnes, with everything going on right now. I know disaster and all that kind of stuff. But I want everybody to think about something for a minute. BLM is getting paid via HUD. HUD does not exist without our, ladies and gentlemen, ding, 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 tax dollars. We're paying for this fraud. The taxpayers. Man, come on. Come on. The recommendation, BLM established an ineffective quality control system. And again, I got a quality control package. It stops all the nonsense. Property pops up day one. It gets a complete property inspection. It gets a complete property inspection. All the way through, everything. Day two, you negotiate everything that needs to be done on the property. Day three, the work can get started. If there is, for whatever untold reason, it can't be completed on day three, that's going to get discussed on day two. Everybody's on the same page from day one. What's wrong with that idea? Just please explain it to me, Mr. Miller. It's your membership doing this. What's wrong with that idea? Oh gosh, gee whiz. It stops the back charges. That is a secret revenue stream for the membership, isn't it, Mr. Miller? Mr. Mingham, think about it. Experiment with NRES. What is it going to hurt? What do you guys got to lose? Donald Trump asked the country. He asked Detroit, what have you got to lose? Guess who's president? What does it hurt to try something? And let's get back to 4S. You got a problem in Nevada and Idaho right now. Best can't deliver. They're bouncing it all over the country. The bid is so low, nobody can help them because they can't take a piece of the pie. I'm talking about cutting all that out and putting the pie right here on the plate, on the table, and we can deal with it. That's all I'm saying. And I think, what do you got to lose, man? Nevada and Idaho, it's a small territory for HUD. Boise, Reno, Las Vegas, you got offices. You got offices. I'll be the first to go down the office and help out, man. Try it. Just try it. I'm just try it. That's all I'm saying. Give it a thought. Just give it a thought. We got a long weekend. Gonna be doing a lot of barbecuing, a lot of conversation. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a phone call. Who knows? Who knows? But let's go back here. I want to look at some stuff here. We gotta look at this. I mean this. Man, oh man, oh man. The recommendation is that BLM give up about $500,000. So look for back charges if you're working with BLM. And I would say, without a doubt, there's going to be some back charging coming from BLM, according to the claims they made when they were questioned. So let me see here. Internal controls, appendixes. Let me go back to the front. I had it set up and I banged my tablet here, and guess what? I lost the recommendation. So we're going to have to go back and find out what page that's on. What we found, what we recommend. First off, I'm going to read what they found. Okay, what we found. BLM did not comply. The contract's with BLM, not you. And this is why I'm saying, Mr. Carnes, you need to open that office in Reno so somebody can walk in there, or somebody behind a desk can call a contractor in Reno and say, hey, I need to talk to you. We got some work we need done. Can you come talk to us? And negotiate it. That guy in the office is going to know what our dump fees are. They're going to know what our hazardous waste disposal, e-waste disposal fees are. And they're going to be able to know, okay, you guys should be able to get 30% on that, no problem. And it gets done. Man. BLM did not comply with its HUD Area 1D Field Service Manager contract. Observations of properties assigned under the contract had a 71%. That's 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 properties fail. There's only one place in the world that you can be a success batting 300, and that's in baseball. Holy Toledo. Hey, Bill, we miss you. The condition occurred because BLM did not effectively manage the performance of vendors that provided property preservation and protection services on its behalf. In addition, it did not consistently follow up on discrepancies reported during inspections. Further, that means BLM didn't answer the bell. Further, BLM focused more on meeting HUD's defined performance metrics for timeliness than on quality performance. HUD paid BLM approximately $497,000 in unearned property management and inspection fees over the term of the contract. What we recommend, HUD require BLM to repay more than $8,000 in ineligible costs and support or repay approximately $489,000 in unearned property management and inspection fees. We further recommend that HUD require BLM to implement its ineffective quality control system to ensure it complies with its contract, putting an estimated $891,000 to better use. So they still got $1 million on the contract. 1.5. Mr. Carnes, not only do I think my suggestion will work better and benefit the taxpayers and your office, bet it can be brought in cheaper than the lowest bids. Bet it can be brought in more effective and at a fair price than the way it's being done now. I'll bet money on it. And I'll lay 11-1 and I'll take any action. How's that? After all, I grew up in Nevada. I'm a gambler. Anyways, since we're going in the weekend, let's have a little humor. Let's have a little humor. Let's go to some comments. You're going to love them. You're going to love them. You're going to love them. Doobie doobie doo, ba da 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 bop bop. Let me see here. Okay. Oddity comments. No, I want the BLM. Okay. OIG alleges that BLM did not effectively manage its vendors based on the allegation that vendors conducted 27% of routine inspection on days when they expected more than 10 properties in one day. However, OIG failed to take into account that many vendors have crews and staff that work for them, which enables the vendor to perform comprehensive inspection at multiple properties. Further, there is no mandate that inspections should take a set amount of time, so OIG's allegation that BLM inspections were apparently not long enough is not based on a contract requirement, but an assumption imposed by OIG. Oddity comments. Yeah. Let's see here. So, some of these were. I'm going to put this in the link, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put the link in the description. Let's get back to my question. I think we've had enough fun with that, and the point's been made. If you're working for BLM, you got a problem right now, and you may want to reconsider your position with that company. And if BLM is contacting you right now, it's obvious they can't afford to pay to have the services completed correctly, or they wouldn't be in this mess. Hello, Brent Martin. Maybe you might want to reconsider. I don't know if you remember me from way back when I told you to go blow down in Carson City. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know. There's absolutely no reason you can't have a quality control program that puts everybody on the same page day one. Day two, everybody negotiates. This party here is sending stuff on. This party here is taking care of their business. Next day, the work gets done. Somebody comes in behind. You're random. Does a little inspection for that inspection. That's the contractor's job. He has to have somebody come behind him with fresh eyes, take a peek around, make sure everything's okay. That's his company. That's his job. But that is Mr. Mingham. You're kind of out in the middle there. What do you think of that solution? Is that a viable solution? Could it be implemented without a big headache? I think it could. I might be wrong. I think it could, though. I really do. Let's get back to the question. If you accept money for services, is obligation attached? Hell yes, it does. You have accepted money to do something. You're claiming you're going to do something when you accept money, or you have told somebody you've done something. Or in the case of BLM, they say, hey, this is what we're going to do. They get X amount of money a month, then they pay you out. That's just there's a lot of paperwork in the middle that don't need to be there. But whether you have a contract or not, whether it's in a verbal agreement, and believe it or not, verbal agreements hold up in court. I'm going to tell you, when you get into a court, I wrote one of the first contracts I ever wrote. I was messing around in the music industry down in the Bay Area way back in the late 70s. And we were putting a show on at the San Jose Fairgrounds, Santa Clara County Fairgrounds there. And we hired a band called Child's Art and Highway 5 to play a gig. And we hired this other obscure band that was called Bonehead or something. I don't remember their name. They weren't any good, but That's probably why I don't remember their name. But the contract, all of us talked at a coffee shop. The contract was a napkin. I will pay you $500 to play for 1 hour, blah, 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 on this date at the fairgrounds. That's all it said. That's all it said. That was my very first contract. That held up in court. The reason we went to court was because the guy was trying to get me to pay $5,000 for equipment they screwed up and left on the stage, and it got ruined. They got left behind because it didn't belong to anybody. When it was time to take it, they rented the equipment to do the show. They came after me because the rental place came after, well, they're no, we're not responsible for it. So when we get into court, the judge, he reads this contract. They submit that as evidence. And the judge looked at it. He goes, yeah, okay. He goes, what do you have to say about this? I said, well, I agreed to pay them $500 to play. I didn't agree to buy their equipment, babysit their equipment, rent their equipment, or anything. I didn't agree in any way, shape, or form to monitor keep an eye on their equipment, make sure it got back to the rental company. That's not my responsibility. They should have taken it before they left the music hall. I gave them $500. They had to eat the $5,000 because that wasn't in the contract. So whether your contract is a very elementary, very simple and plain, and trust me, when you go through experiences like that early on, when you start your entrepreneurial adventures, you learn a lot of tough lessons. You learn a lot of tough lessons. Do you need a contract? Do you need a written contract with a friend? Some people say no. After my recent experiences, losing a very dear friend, a friendship that just got massacred and shattered in more ways than I can ever imagine, maybe if we had a contract, it wouldn't happen the way it did. Maybe the contract would have eased us in a different way and we'd have pursued avenues in a more amicable way instead of the volatile way that things happened. So my humble opinion, I don't care what you're doing. I have found my experiences over the years, a paper contract, no doubt about it, no questions in my mind, and that's not an opinion. You just are not going to convince me any different ever, ever, ever again. A contract's mandatory. A piece of paper is mandatory, whether it be something as simple as I will mow 4 acres of your lawn for $100 on September 1st or whatever. I mean, whether it just be that simple or it be so detailed you need accountants, lawyers, and a whole law firm to interpret it, doesn't matter. That contract, it becomes very, very, very important, because with a contract, whether it be verbal, whether it be a written documentation, whether it be within the 4 corners, obligation attaches to accepting the fee. Obligation attaches immediately upon signature, but obligation attaches once you accept revenue for a service. Obligation attaches. And in this case, as we can see, BLM completely ignored their obligation. Completely ignored the obligation. I mean, what do you say to that? How can you justify taking the money if you're not? This is what my daddy taught me. If you say you're going to do something, stand behind your word and do it. Because 1 or 2 times you'll get forgiven. But there's going to come a point where you become a pile of crap and nobody's going to listen to you and nobody will accept your word anymore. It's just that simple. And now with everything that's going on in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, everything that's going on in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of obligation is not being met, is it? On that note, special report brought to you by the infamous foreclosurepedia.org, up to the minute fraud reporting over there on foreclosurepedia.org. Go check him out. Sheena Alexandra Down Under. Down Under. Hey, if you can, www.bondi, B-O-N-D-I. We say Bondi here. Down Under, they say Bondi. BondiRadio.com.au, 6 to 9 p.m. Wellness from Down Under with Sheena and Liam. Going to try to make it. Maybe I'll get, if they do a phone thing, maybe I can call them up and say, hey, from the United States of America, hello, how are you doing? You never know. Me and Wilson, hey, Wilson, man of a few words, but gets his point across, don't he? Hey, let's have a great day. We'll have more over the weekend. I got a little GMO stuff going on too, but I want everybody to have a great weekend. It is Labor Day. If anything, shout out to everybody in labor in the property preservation industry. Say hi, say hello, wish each other a good Labor Day. We are labor. Why are we labor? You are labor, I am labor, we are labor, we're all labor. Let's have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, let's all be safe out there, huh?